On the right hand side, it'll show you your recent searches, but you can also search for a client specifically. So with searching for a client, you have 4 ways of searching for them. One being very specific. They're already in the system, you know they're in the system, and you have their HMIS unique ID number recorded somewhere else. You can actually put in a client UID number and it'll take you directly to that record. The other 3 ways is with the date of birth, last 4 of a social security number, or their name. If you're searching by their name, what we ask everyone to do is use the first 3 letters of their first name and the first 3 letters of their last name. The reason why is we want to reduce the amount of duplicate records, and because misspellings happen all the time, we want you to actually look at the possible options, and if you see that there's already a record that matches your client, we want you to use that, and if there are corrections that need to be made, we want you to correct it. So this is the client record I'm going to go to kind of show you the client record. So to go to a client record, what I'll need to do is just to the left of their name, you're going to see a little edit button. You'll click on that, and then it takes you to their record. But to give you an example of what all is on the client record, what you'll notice is the global taskbar changed slightly. I only have search and caseload. The referrals went away, but also on the top left, my agency name went away, and I have a whole bunch of tabs here. So imagine HMIS as a very large file cabinet, and a client record is like pulling out a book, and within that book we have various chapters. So every client record will have a profile. That's where it defaults to take you to. You'll notice there's a light underscore under profile that lets you know which tab you're on. There's a programs tab, history, files, contact, location, notes, services, assessments, and referrals. The other thing you'll see here is this yellow bar that says release of information is missing or permission not provided. Please ensure the compliance by clicking here. So our ROIs are good for 7 years. ROI being release of information and consent to be an HMIS. We want to be sure that if we ever see this yellow bar, that we are getting a new ROI for our clients. It is all of our responsibilities to be sure that we have appropriate consents in the system. Consents are good for each COC, so if a client has signed a consent for YOLO and then they come to Sacramento, we will need to have a consent form for Sacramento and vice versa. I will show you how to record a consent form a little bit further on. Other things we have on this page is client demographic information. Here is that unique ID number. You'll notice it's under the picture. We do like to get pictures of our clients in the system. The reason why we use pictures is, for example, you may be working with a client and maybe your program enrollment with them ends. However, they are still experiencing homelessness and we are hoping to get them into a housing project. If their name is identified as being prioritized for a housing project, it is possible that we could be sending out an outreach worker to locate them to say, hey, we have a potential housing referral for you. And so if we don't have updated contact information in the system like phone numbers or emails to reach a client, then the next best thing is to go out to where it may be recorded that they are most often. However, what we don't want to do is go to a place like Friendship Park and start yelling at the top of our lungs, hey, is there a Michael Smith here? Hence the picture will allow someone who's going out to try to locate them to know who they may be trying to find. You'll also see over here on the right hand side of your screen, we have some icons here. The printer icon is for client level reports. So this will give you reports on just this client for various things, and I'll show you this later today. Here's the calendar. So this is when you want to say, I have an appointment with my client, I want to record it on mine. You would record it here. Again, it's an underutilized feature because it's not very robust, but to show you what it looks like, you would just pick your date, your start and end time, and I can say maybe tomorrow, and it'll be from 1 to 2. and I can put in a location and hit save. And that's all the calendar, that's how the calendar feature looks. This little shield icon is the client privacy. So this allows us to record the releases of information and edit privacy within HMIS. HMIS does allow varying options of privacy. Then we have household members. So if somebody is part of a household meaning that if they were housed or are housed, these are the folks they'd want to be living with. So households could be any composition. It could be parents with children, grandparents with children, aunts, uncles, significant others, partners, spouses, best friends, any of those kinds of combination of how someone, identifies as their family or household. We'll be practicing this today. Then over here you have active services, active programs. These are the programs that this client is currently enrolled in. Typically you would not see someone enrolled in 5 programs at one time, but I have seen quite a few people enrolled in as many as 2 programs at a time. You'll notice that as I scroll down, I have this little edit button next to it. These are quick links to get to that part of this client's record. So this would take me into that service. This would take me into that program enrollment. Then a little further down, you'll see recent services. Recent is not by any specific time frame. This is recent in relation to the client. I've seen recent services that were provided yesterday and recent services that were provided 7 years ago. Then down here at the bottom, you'll see assign staff. These are staff members that the client was assigned to in their program enrollments. So when I put my mouse on here and click, you'll see it'll pop up with the name and the agency. And because I put my phone number next to my name in my account, then the phone number is here. The other thing I want to show you is some of the demographic stuff here. We have Social Security number, quality of Social Security number, name, quality of name, quality of date of birth, alias, gender assigned at birth, gender identity, sexual orientation, ethnicity, race, zip code at last permanent address, their primary language, if they're a citizen, veteran status, and some contact information. We'll review more of this as we set up a new client record. And as we go through today, we will go over each one of these tabs. So when you're working with your clients and you go into a client record, if you notice a misspelling on their name, or you see something like approximate or partial Social Security number reported, and you have their full Social Security number, we do want to edit these client records as we see it. It is everybody's responsibility to make sure that we have correct information. For names, it needs to be their legal name that you would see on their ID. For example, we wouldn't want to use Mike Smith. We want to use Michael Smith if that is the person's full legal name. We can, however, under alias, which is a little further down here, it's almost 2/3 of the way down my screen, you'll see alias. We can type in nicknames, street names, maiden names, any of those kinds of things. And the system, when we're searching for a client, if we're using a name, it will use both the first and last name here, but it'll also be looking at the alias. So it's really nice.